If we don't take care of our land, no one will. Let's protect nature together. Look, it's the daughter of Mr. Davis, a well-known businessman. Stop filming me. I have no words. You are a disgrace to our family. My parents said that to me all the time, but let's start from the beginning. Hi, I'm Camellia, and I'm from Seattle. Please don't forget to press like if you enjoyed my story, and subscribe to the Private Diary channel. I was born into a very wealthy family, and immediately became a disappointment to my dad. I wanted a son I could leave my business to. He owned several construction companies. They were so successful, Dad was ranked in the top 10 of the Forbes list. Mom couldn't get pregnant after she had me, and Dad eventually decided to make a successor out of me. He enrolled me in all sorts of courses and started to bring me along to construction sites. Oh no! Why are they cutting trees down? They get in the way. Mr. Davis wants you to read all these books. One day, my parents and I were driving through the city when Dad suddenly got a call from his head of security. Sir, you should turn around and go back right now. The next moment, our car was surrounded by a crowd of people. Stop destroying the forest. Your company should be sued. Are they Shrek fans? The crazy environmentalists are at it again. Go home, everyone. That evening, I Googled Dad's company and found out they had cut down trees in a conservation area. How could you let them do that? You shouldn't destroy nature reserves. If I cared about every tree out there, I wouldn't have so much money. There are things more important than money. Enough of this nonsense. Take Camellia to her room. From that moment on, I got really interested in ecology. I watched a lot of science shows and read hundreds of articles on the subject. I wanted to do my part and protect the environment. What are you doing? Just sorting the trash. Stop this right now. As a child, I went to an elite school. Dad paid my tuition. But as I grew up, I decided that I didn't want to use his money. I'm transferring to a public school. I'd always been the black sheep of my family. By the time I turned 16, I found friends who shared my interests. I love this vegan cafe. The food here is amazing. I'd sell my soul for their chickpea hummus. Guys, let's focus on tomorrow's protest. Don't worry so much. We'll get the signatures and they'll shut down the zoo. The animals are kept in terrible conditions. We need to find a new home for them. After leaving the cafe, I suddenly felt someone's eyes on me. However, when I looked around, I didn't see anyone suspicious. What are you wearing? You have a closet full of designer clothes. Why are you dressed in weird second-hand again? I've been working part-time as a groomer to buy the clothes that I like. The next day, on the way to my part-time job, I noticed that someone was following me again. Okay, I'm not imagining this. Later, I overheard a conversation between the security guards at our house. I watched the footage. Seems like that red-haired kid has been hanging around the house at night again. He even tried to get inside. If boss finds out that we let him get away, we'll all be fired. Were they talking about the guy who'd been following me? The next morning, I woke up early to get ready for the protest. What are you doing to your face? We're protesting to help zoo animals today. I forbid you from taking part in that. You can't stop me. I can, and I will. The next moment, Dad stormed out of my room and locked the door. Ugh, dang it. In theory, I could have climbed out my window, but my room was on the 3rd floor. Then, I heard footsteps and the voices of our maids outside my door. If you let me out, I'll give you my Tiffany jewelry. The maids hesitated at first, but then they opened the door. The protest that day was a success. We gathered enough signatures. Let's celebrate in our favorite cafe. We were about to leave when a familiar car stopped next to us. Dad's driver got out of it and pushed me into the car. Let go of me! Hey, you can't treat her like that. If you get in my way, I'll personally sic the police on you. Dad was furious about my escape and fired the maids who'd helped me. You're grounded. From now on, a security guard is going to accompany you everywhere, even at school. I don't need a babysitter. And yet, you will have one until you learn to behave. He sent me back to my room and didn't even call me down to dinner. By evening, I got hungry and came down to the kitchen anyways. And then I heard an interesting conversation. It'll be the biggest project of my career. I'm gonna build a resort on a tropical island in the Caribbean. I had to bribe some people to get the necessary permissions, but it's done now. You've got this, darling. Dad's project was probably bad news, as usual. As soon as my parents went to bed, I snuck into his study and took pictures of the documents. I knew it! That island is a nature reserve. It's home to rare animal species. Some of these turtles are classified as endangered by the IUCN. If Dad turns it into a resort, he'll destroy everything. I decided to come up with a plan to stop him. The next day, Dad sent a security guard to the school with me, just like he said he would. That giant was freaking both me and my classmates out. Even my friends were too afraid to approach me after my dad's threats. What, are you gonna go to the bathroom with me too? When I got inside, someone grabbed my arm and dragged me into a cubicle. You're the guy who's been stalking me. Are you nuts? Shh, be quiet. I just want to talk. About what? I want to talk to Mr. Davis, not you. I was hoping you could arrange a meeting for me. Your guards won't let me be near him. What do you want from my father? I want to protect the environment, just like you. I have a business proposal for him. He seemed suspicious, but convinced me to give him a chance. After school, I asked the security guard to drive us to Dad's company and brought Austin to Dad's office. Who's that with you? Hello, Dad. Dad? You look so much like Laura. I'm Austin, her son. Mom died 6 months ago. Shortly before that, she told me who my father was. That's why I came here, to find you. I can't believe this. Mind explaining what the heck is going on? Soon after you were born, I traveled to another city. There, I met Laura and we had a fling. Then, I came back to you and your mother. I had no idea Laura was expecting. How could you do that? Not now, Camellia. Leave us. I need to talk to Austin. When the two of them came out of his office, Dad said that Austin was gonna live with us from then on. I'll tell your mother that he's the son of my dead friend. You need to play along. You want me to lie to Mom? Please, sis. I'm living with my crazy grandmother. She treats me terribly. We're basically starving. I just want a normal life and family. Austin looked so miserable that I felt sorry for him. Okay. I'll try. Mom believed Dad's lies. She wasn't happy that a stranger was going to live with us, but Austin managed to charm her. You've such refined taste. This is Chanel number 5, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I see you know what you're talking about. After moving in with us, Austin also transferred to my school. He turned out to be very smart and quickly became the best student there. The teachers sing your praises. I've decided to transfer you to a private academy. This is the best gift I've ever gotten. Meanwhile, I came up with a plan to stop the development of Dad's new project. They've opened a greenhouse with tropical plants in town lately. We could dress up in Aboriginal clothing and film a video there. I could write an article about all the rare animals that live on the island. We could contact the media after that. That's when I noticed Austin standing by my door and hung up. You scared me. Sorry, I brought you some tea. If we don't take care of our land, no one will. Let's protect nature together. Look, it's the daughter of Mr. Davis, a well-known businessman. Stop filming me. I have no words. You are a disgrace to our family. How did you even find out about the project? What does that matter? Dad's construction is ruining a natural reserve. Why can't you pick another island? Do you have any idea how expensive that would be? Every cent counts when you're trying to grow your wealth. All you care about is money. You should listen to Dad. He's much more experienced than you. Austin had clearly been lying when he said he cared about the environment too. The next morning, Dad suddenly called me into his study. Someone leaked the information about my project to the journalists. No one was supposed to know about it yet. It wasn't me. We didn't even mention your project while filming. Camellia, I heard you talking to a reporter last night. Are you trying to get back at Dad? That was such a blatant lie. It left me speechless. Get out of my sight. As I was leaving Dad's study, I saw that Austin was smirking. He must have overheard me talking to my friends and tipped the journalists off about us filming in the greenhouse. That day, I decided to make dinner for my parents to smooth things over. After trying my food, Mom and Dad suddenly started to choke. Are you trying to poison us? Your father is allergic to chili pepper. I hadn't used it though, but as soon as I saw my brother brother's snide grin, I understood what happened. Why are you doing this? You're too dumb to understand. Your whole life, you've had everything, but you've never used any of it. There was less than a week left before the construction on the island was supposed to begin. My first plan failed, and I decided to try something else. Seems like all the business courses Dad made me take will actually come in handy. I did a bit of research and found an island not far from the one Dad wanted to use. It was similar, except there were no rare animals living on it. I didn't sleep for several days to make some adjustments to Dad's project. When I came home from school several days later, I was finally ready to present it to Dad. However, he was in a terrible mood. Is this what you think of us? Dad showed me a post on social media. Someone had pretended to be me and written a bunch of nasty things about my parents. I didn't write that. The article was quoted by almost all the major news channels. Several of my partners have already refused to work with me because of my damaged reputation. When I noticed Austin's devious smile, I realized it was his doing. He's the one who logged into my account on my computer. I'm sure of it. You're just an ungrateful liar. My parents didn't even hear me out. I had truly brought a monster into our house, and now I was reaping the consequences. That evening, the three of them left to give an interview to try to salvage the situation. I stayed at home and fell asleep in my room. In the middle of the night, I woke up when I felt someone in the room with me. What are you doing here? I'm gonna get you kicked out of this house. Dad will only love me. He told me how much he'd always wanted a son. Why are you doing this? I helped you. Because you don't deserve this wealth. You're a moron. I'm much better than you. What if I tell your secret to Mom? You wouldn't dare. And even if you do, she loves me more than she loves you. I couldn't sleep for the rest of the night, trying to decide if I should tell Mom the truth or not. What if it makes things worse? I was about to head to the city in the morning when I saw an elderly woman at our gate. She was shouting and looked agitated. What's the matter? Some crazy lady is demanding we let her in? That's my grandmother. I told you she's a psycho and she can be dangerous. Please don't let her in. Kick her out. Call the police if you have to. At that moment, I saw Austin smile again. What a wacko. That day, I finally decided to tell Mom the truth. Austin is Dad's son. That's not possible. I know it hurts to hear, but that's not it. I've seen Austin's ID. He is a year younger than you. After you were born, your father fell ill. There were some complications, and the doctor said he would no longer be able to have children. But he wanted a son so badly that I asked them to hide it from him. So that means Austin lied? We should get a DNA test just to be sure. I snuck into Austin's room and pulled a few hairs off his comb. Mom got Dad's hair and we took it all to a lab. The next evening, Dad threw a dinner party at our house to celebrate the launch of his project. We had a lot of guests over. Look, this is Mr. Davis's daughter. How can the daughter of such a successful man be such an oddball? Everyone was whispering behind my back, but I tried to ignore them. I was still against Dad's project, but I didn't want to embarrass him in front of the guests. Then, our security guards suddenly walked in. These cages were left outside the door. It was probably Camelia's doing. She must have wanted to set them loose and ruin the evening. My daughter loves animals too much to put them in cages. I saw Austin meet their handlers. He brought the animals to frame Camelia. Why would he do that? Because he's a liar and an impostor. Austin is not your son. Here are the DNA test results. He was so convincing, and he looked just like Laura. I didn't even doubt him. The next moment, that lunatic pounced on me. You ratted me out. I should have tried harder to get rid of you. Let go of me. When they pulled Austin off me, he exploded like a pressure cooker. Get him out of my house. You'll regret this. All the guests were confused, and I decided to take advantage of that. I turned on the video I'd filmed with my friends. We had added some footage of the island's nature into it. I know that many people think I'm weird. Sometimes I went too far in my desire to protect the environment. But the island my dad wants to use for his resort is a nature reserve. Take a look at the turtles that live there. They're an endangered species. I have another business proposal, and I'd like to present it. Daddy, you won't hurt these cute turtles, will you? Of course not. Mr. Davis, why haven't we heard about this before? The next moment, I looked outside the window and saw a part of our house go up in flames. There's a fire! Go outside, everyone! I grabbed my parents, who were frozen with shock, and called the fire department. No one was injured, but by the time the fire was extinguished, half our house had burned down. We found the arsonist. Why did you do that? I hate rich people. The whole world is at your feet, while I have nothing. It's unfair, and I wanted to change that. Excuse me, but my grandson has mental health issues. He was in a psychiatric clinic for a long time, but recently ran away. While looking for him, I saw the interview you gave on TV. Shortly before her death, my daughter Laura told Austin she had dated a famous businessman for a while. He must have used that information to gain your trust. Soon, the police released Austin and he was sent back to the clinic. So, what was that about your business proposal? Would you show us? Of course! Dad's partners backed me, and Dad had to choose another island. Mom forgave him for the affair all those years ago. She was used to living in luxury and didn't want to lose that. I'm turning 18 soon, and I'll finally be able to move out. My parents and I are simply too different. I'm still very passionate about environmental protection, but I realized I do need to be more mature about it. You don't have to paint your face and go to extreme lengths to achieve something. In the future, I want to start a charity and help animals in nature. Do you think I can do it?